Actual self, ideal self. What's that about? Hi everyone, Vladdy here from Docha Psychological Services. So, actual self is the self of who we are right now, in the here and the now. Our ideal self is the self that we aspire to be. So, it's that self in the future that considers what our hopes, our dreams, our wishes are. Now, when there's a discrepancy between our actual self and our ideal self, well, there could be some uncomfortable feelings that come up for us. So there can be disappointment, there can be frustration, there can even be unfulfillment. So now what? Well, I think the first piece is to identify where this discrepancy, or kind of what I'm talking about when I say this discrepancy between our actual self and our ideal self. So we can get fixated when we think about hopes, desires, wishes, on some milestones that we want to achieve. And maybe we're setting them on by a particular age. We want to, hit this milestone. So maybe it's, for some people might be owning a house, let's say by a certain age, maybe age 35. Maybe it's, getting married. Maybe it's having kids by a certain age. And, maybe you're comparing yourself to your parents, or, you're comparing yourself to other people around you too. And it can really then fuel these feelings, and maybe they can maybe be some negative self-talk, and even maybe it can lead you to feel like, to the extent that maybe you feel like some failure that's coming up too. So what can you do with all of this? One, maybe, is to consider the strengths that have also allowed you to get to where you are today as part of your actual self, and see how those translate over to, to tackle that discrepancy between your actual self and your ideal self. And I mean, the other piece too is that, yes, there's something to be said of like knowing what your target is, of where you want to go and what those hopes, what those dreams, what those wishes are. Though, what's the action plan? Because if there is no action plan, it can be more challenging to get us from, point A to point B. And also allowing for the fact that point A might lead to point here, point there, point this, point there, that then gets us to point B, and that's okay too. Vladdy out.